I bump my knuckles together, watching the large wolf move to the doorway. I see him grab the shadowy fellow by the shoulder, trying to shift him away a little. The unknown guy thrusts what looks like a camera bag and tripod towards Leo. Leo shoves it right back. I see the wolf lean in close, his grip tightening on the other. He mutters something. The shadow whinges, his head turning. I think he's looking at me. This makes me wonder if... Remember we had the conversation about whether or not Howley is English or American?
Are you talking about the word whinges?
Yeah.
Because that threw me off last time it showed up too. I think it showed up like 2 or 3 times, but I'm just like, whinges. It's not a word I think I've ever actually heard before.
Yeah.
I can infer its meaning through context.
It's complaining.
The shadow... Okay.
Stop your whinging and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it. I'm sure I know it from Harry Potter, basically. So it's like it's not something I've ever heard anyone say here. And so it's like up that when we were like looking at the units they would use in Ad Astra sometimes, like that Marco thinks in, and we were like trying to determine both whether he's American or European, and also maybe whether or not the writer is. Yeah,
because I mean, obviously the writer can make the main character like a completely different demographic than he himself represents. Yeah. But usually you just kind of naturally fall into the one that you, especially with things like words.
It's hard to consistently narrate without using the wrong words. If you could, like, how do you even know which ones they are? They only sound weird to other people.
It's like how you out yourself by using hella as a Californian. It's like you don't necessarily think about these things when you're writing dialogue.
Nobody has said hella yet.
They in California?
Oh man,
they're not.
Yeah, you're right. They're not in California. They might not be in California.
I gotta.
It's extremely regional, isn't it?
I can look it up because
regional.
Route 60. Wait, Route 65?
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I was thinking Route 66.
Oh.
Where the fuck is Route 65? Is that even?
Did he find the one not real?
No, I think Route 65 is also famous.
But yeah, like
California. That's California.
They are in California, so that's why it looks like California.
That's what when I was talking about earlier. I was talking about 66. 66 is the one that is. That's the one that starts.
I'm like, no one's saying.
He goes to New Mexico and Oklahoma and goes through Missouri.
And I'm like, specifically, I have this dumb little story where I was playing Halo 2 and I said hella once, and immediately someone said I was from California. And I'm like, what? How did you know?
That goes right through where we live.
Oh.
Pretty much.
We could just like go to Route 65 in like 10 minutes.
It's basically Central California.
Oh yeah.
So these towns looking all familiar to me and being like places I've been, it's pretty accurate.
Because it's just very local.
Yeah.
I wonder if that means that Howley's in California or not. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, it's
like how all of Stephen King's books take place in Maine.
it mentions Bakersfield, Roseville, Yuba. It's like Yuba County, Kern County, Sierra Nevada.
I actually don't know if this game's written by Howley or McSkinney. Actually, but I don't know. Well, the main game started with so Echo was the premise already. Anyway, the shadow whinges, his head turning. I think he's looking at me. Starting to feel rather awkward, I approach the two. As I do, however, the figure departs back toward the main factory floor. I don't like that. That's weird.
What he's saying?
Well, he asked... No, not this line, but the situation. He asked us how much we remember?
Yeah.
And then we said that we saw the van.
Yeah, and
he said that he found us on the road. But a guy with a camera just showed up, which was the thing I suspected was in the van.
So
I'm like...
We saw the guy with the camera in the CG shot. I saw him. The guy looked like Alf. The hog guy looked like Alf.
He had
a camera.
I'm just like, what?
That was definitely a creepy van, like the kind you don't go up to that says they have candy in it. Like that definitely was one of those vans.
Yeah. So I'm like, what did Chase see? Because I think he might have actually seen something, but he doesn't get what it was. I don't think he walked for a mile. I think that's his how fucked up his brain was.
Yeah.
I think it was just like behind the building or something.
Well, Leo still hasn't told us why he's here, but and honestly, I initially thought he was gonna be like a drug addict.
Well, he might have.
But he said specifically, I would have ended up like those, like druggies if it weren't for you guys, my friends. Which makes me think that he's not here for that.
I think he's mixed up in something. I think they were filming something in a van, and I'd think that what's his name didn't know what he was sending us to, Flynn. I think Flynn just thought this was a party that he wasn't going to go to.
Yeah.
And didn't understand.
But why was Flynn invited?
I don't know. Maybe Flynn does know more. Maybe Flynn's on the football team. Because I think Leo's on the football team.
Well, he said people on the football
team. So
he could just be a popular guy.
Yeah. I'm never hanging out with anybody but those in our group from here on out, I swear, man. He curses something in Spanish under his breath. I used equipment like that before when I had to do a video story for the school news. The AV club rents them out to students for school projects. Are you, working on a school project?
You also remember one of our options was working on an art project?
Yeah.
In terms of one of our excuses? That's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
An art project. Wink.
I see Leo's muzzle pull into a tight-lipped hold. He steps forward, taking hold of my shoulders. Now I'm wondering if it was a really bad idea to say that we were with Leo, if Leo's up to shit.
Yeah.
I think that choice didn't age well. No, for the love of God, Chase, please don't ask me about it again. His demeanor seems more akin to begging than annoyance, flickers of fear in his eyes. I stand in his grasp, slack-jawed. This is beyond strange, but I can tell he's serious about his request. Alright, but... Chase. Leo, are you okay? I just want to get back to town with you, yeah? I guess I can respect that request. I'm assuming TJ's already been picked up by now. The last I saw of the Lynx, he was crying in a beer-soaked puddle.
Oh.
I feel like a complete asshole for not checking in on him in person. You were knocked out. Like, you were knocked out. You probably shouldn't be walking, honestly.
Yeah.
Though at least it wasn't as bad as Carl, who straight up fled home. Poor TJ is probably blaming himself for everything, too. Jasmine stuck at home with her shitty family.
If anything, she might have lucked out on this one.
Meanwhile, it turns out Leo is gay and likes me. And despite...
Whoa, likes.
He used heavier words than that.
We're infantile over here.
Likes. He's like a jelly that steals your equipment.
Lick.
No, they're called likes.
I know, I just think it's funny. They're spelled like L-I-K.
Are they?
Yeah.
And despite everything, the stuff he described feeling about me, I feel about him. My emotions are so damn conflicted right now. This emo vampire music is actually resonating with me. I keep hitting the joystick slightly. Leo releases my shoulders and moves towards the back door, tugging it a few times. He huffs some, then gives it a hard kick with his foot. One of the hinges snaps and the door falls into a hanging diagonal position. With a swift stop, the other two hinges snap off as well, leaving the metal door on the floor. We could have gone out the front. Well, he stares at the door at his feet before looking up at me. Wouldn't have been as rebellious. You like destruction of property, don't you? I break a mirror at one rest stop when I was 8. Because you didn't get the toy you wanted in your kiddie meal.
That is pretty... Would you like punch a mirror as an 8-year-old? Like, wow, that's edgy.
He smiles teasingly at me, the moonlight illuminating his backside. I can see the faint purples in the sky of inevitable sunrise as well. It's been that long?
Well, I mean, look how bright the light's coming through these little windows here.
Yeah, I'm like, how alarmingly long were you out? Like, how dire was this situation where you probably should have had an ambulance called? Hey, you know we don't have fast food joints like that around here. That was my one chance at getting that figurine from that stupid dinosaur movie.
Which one?
When you were 8.
So 2001.
2001. Did the shitty dinosaur movie come out in 2001? The one with that where they're too realistic and gross looking?
I was thinking it might be that one.
Or
why would you want something from that, Chase?
There was a Land Before Time movie coming out every year for like a decade, right? But
it was Dinosaur.
Dinosaur, the one that's just called Dinosaur.
Yeah, that's from 2000. So
that movie
like right
fucking
about.
Sucks.
It's like 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was that one.
So I was gonna say, like, I think the Land Before Time movie stopped going to theaters long before that.
On here, wait a minute. It's now saying, now I don't know because I see one that says 2004. But now I'm seeing a bunch of other stuff that says 2001.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Yes, it's 2000. Okay, I don't know why one website had different information. 2000 American live-action computer animated adventure film produced by Walt Disney Feature Animation. It was like them. It was like them trying to experiment with computer-generated films, but not Pixar.
Yeah, it's just called Dinosaur.
Because it wasn't Pixar that made that one, and they made the dinosaurs kind of uncanny, realistic. It was kind of off-putting.
Yeah, that was 2000, so he could have been 8. It's like within the 1 year range of what his birthday might have been.
Yeah, because the movies usually come out first, and then like the toys come out like kind of like around the time the movie comes out. So they have like a run. So if it was like during the holiday season, it definitely could have gone into the next year. It wouldn't have been like a thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. My phone also suggested We're Back, and I'm like, no, that's 1993. It is so long ago.
Love that one. That's the far superior dinosaur movie.
Your hand was so damn bloody, I thought you were the coolest. There's a pause.
And now I bloodied my hand for you.
And that's when I realized I was gay.
I was like, oh my gosh.
I stepped past him into the fresh, far less musty air, the faint scent of Leo's cologne now more palpable. I crossed my arms, staring down the rusty metal of the fire escape-like stairwell. I still do.
Ooh.
Oh, bullshit, man. I try to maintain a healthy amount of skepticism for his words now. Though, looking at him now, and having known Leo long enough, I don't sense any visible signs of deception. My dad actually suggested I'd be a decent journalist, since I'm pretty good at reading people and their emotions. Though, he might have just said that to try to dissuade me from videography. Leo begins to descend the stairwell, keeping his paws hovering above the guardrail just in case. I pull out my phone, using the screen as a flashlight for us. I'm serious. You act so damn level-headed all the time. Everyone else in our group, not to be insulting them or nothing, because they're family, but they can be pretty out there, eh? You're always so calm and balanced, though. You mean generic and boring, man. Nah, like, you're always hanging in the background, almost invisible-like, and then you say some snarky shit and everybody loses it. You're observant, yeah? Like Flynn, but less of an insulting shit about it. My parents, my siblings, they love you, dude. Mom's always asking me when Chase is gonna come around again.
Aw.
We reach the end of the stairway. The insides of my ears probably ruby red at this point. The back lot of Parsons is mainly composed of old piles of dirt and some foundation, like they were planning on expanding before they shut down. I'm not gonna fuck internet people. You can ease up on the compliments.
Internet people.
Internet people. They came from the internet.
Who makes friends on the internet? Ew, who even does that? Oh my gosh.
How do you make friends on the not internet is the real question.
I don't know how I've lived this long.
I don't know. I depend on the kindness of strangers.
I just got adopted, I don't know.
I turn and smirk at Leo, a little in disbelief that those words just left my mouth. We start walking. Good. I have no clue what you're into, actually. Honesty? Leo looks at me a little warily, that same guilty expression crossing his muzzle once again. And, you know, muscles, I guess. I see Leo's eyes light up, his maw pulling into a fangy grin. It actually is a pretty frightening visage in the middle of the night. Or at anyone but Leo. Predators, man.
I mean, you're a fucking otter. Otters are brutal. They're hella mean.
Well, he's used to hanging out with a ram that has trouble holding his head up.
Because his horns are too big.
You should come to more of my games if you want to see those.
Oh, that's cute.
The internet exists too. Yeah, and how'd that work out for you earlier? I feel that pang of remembrance and the ensuing feelings of shame all over again. This whole night did exactly what I wanted after all. Distracted me from my problem. And other things. I feel Leo's eyes on me, his face softening. He places his paw on my back. You missed a lot this session. You weren't even at homecoming. The tickets were like $30. I was saving up for that multiplayer driving sim game with Carl. We eventually played it for like 3 hours, and then never touched it again. We won by only a few points, and I got 2 touchdowns. If you were there, I would have pointed to the stands where you were and everything. Embarrassed the shit out of you, eh?
That's cute.
I wouldn't be embarrassed. I'd be... Well, I am proud of you. In the past, I had vocally lamented Leo's ascension to jockhood, especially his douchebag townie teammates. Ugh.
Oh, I dated like 2 football players. I dated 3 football players, and one of them was from an opposing high school team. But guess what? I never went to any of their fucking games. I was like, I don't like this, guys. I did go to the whatever he was talking about, homecoming or whatever. But I didn't pay any attention. I didn't know what they were doing. They could have pointed at me and I would not have even noticed.
Just on your phone. Points at the audience, that's my girl, and everyone sees and you're just like...
Or be like, that's my girl. I'm like, no, the opposing team's like, you're at my high school. You're not supposed to point me out and make me look like a traitor.
Get me murdered. Now it's Leo's turn to be dubious. He clicks his tongue against the roof of his mouth, shaking his head. You and Carl just think I'm a different person now that I play varsity. Carl and I would poke fun at him about it, and I think our jokes genuinely upset him. I've never really properly apologized about all that. In reality, I just didn't like the fact he spent most of his after-school time at practice.
Yeah, lame. Don't date people with after-school activities. Ugh.
I miss him. You're not. You've always been a blockhead ball slinger. That hasn't changed.
Yeah, ball slinger.
Oh! Leo lets out a deep chortle. You gonna join the cheerleading squad for me now, Otter? Pff, I ain't flexible enough for that. You think I can do a high kick? No, but I'd pay $1 to see you try. Coming to a stop, I look down at my stubby legs, because otters have tiny legs.
They do.
$1 is $1. That's 1/4 of what I need to get a burger at the diner. You're not gonna film this too?
Oh, he got real serious.
The wolf's shoulders tense, his gaze snapping to me. Chase, you said I wouldn't ask about it. It doesn't mean I can't tease you about it. He huffs, but I can tell that sort of cheered him up in a way. Just don't mention it around the group, okay? I make a bicycle with my fingers. I don't know why I said that.
A bicycle?
I make a circle with my fingers in a gesture of acknowledgement. I make sure there is no errant shrubbery around me before directing my muscles to lift my right leg as high up as it will go. It turns out that is barely a 60-degree angle from its stationary position. What? That's impossible. You can't even hit 90?
Yeah, I think
How tight are your pants? Well, you're wearing shorts. Fuck you. You can do higher than 90.
I think someone's confused about the degree on that, because I was gonna say 90 degrees should be at least straight out,
yeah,
which I think most people can do.
Yeah, you can't even kick out straight.
At least get like to 80, dude. Like,
I hear the wolf snigger. Oh, come on. I am just a sack of furry stone, and even I can kick higher than that.
Yeah, furry stones.
We're 2 different species. Give me a break. Work for that $1, Chase. Defy species norms and negative stereotypes, as Jasmine says.
Well, to be fair, I've never seen an otter do any kind of kick, so maybe they really just can't.
You think otters just can't, like, bend their legs up at all?
No, maybe not in a straight line, like a straight out, you know? I don't know.
That's gonna be a problem for, like, positions for them.
I mean, I feel like otters are pretty flexible, because they just do a whole bunch of very cat-like, crazy acrobatic stuff. So I feel like they probably could, and he probably would make a great cheerleader, but I think he's just really doubting himself.
There are some physical limitations here that no third period social sciences class can overcome. And I don't think an otter being paid to perform for a wolf's amusement is exactly a progressive act. I believe in you. He says that as saccharine and schmaltzily as possible, eliciting an eye roll from yours truly. I lift my leg, this time bracing my hands underneath my thigh and pushing it up. I manage to get the thigh itself much higher, though I'm having trouble fully extending at the knee. Leo notices and steps over, taking my calf and holding the small of my back supportively so I don't tip over. My muscles are starting to burn something fierce, and the position's pretty damn compromising. I frown as hard as I can up at Leo, who bursts into laughter. Okay, now I wish I was filming this otter. Dude! I wriggle free, rubbing my now sore leg before continuing onward. True to his word, Leo fishes his wallet out of the back of his jeans and hands me a crisp $1 bill. I pocket the dollar, looking back over toward Leo. Don't I get a tip? The tip comes later. Whoa, that face! Jesus Christ. I bury my face in my paws, groaning in contrast to the baritone cackling of the wolf beside me. Jokes like that have a whole new meaning after tonight.
Oh, see, that's why he was kind of awkward about making the poof jokes.
Yeah.
That came up. I mean, that's kind of what I was going to guess anyway. But...
They were hinting at it. And then the V-neck did the rest.
Yeah, as soon as he showed up, I was like, deep V.
As I peek through my fingers, I see that the sun has crested the edge of the mountains, and the world is bathed in glimmers of orange.
That's beautiful. Honestly, I will say, my mom used to always be like, the sunsets are so beautiful, in Central California. I'm like, yeah, Mom, it's all that methane, just cows everywhere. But honestly, that looks about right. I've seen, skies that look just like that.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, it's all the pollution.
You get the full gradient.
Lots of oranges.
I've been up for nearly 24 hours now, and my body feels a little more tingly than tired. I feel like you've been out for about 8 hours, or 6 hours. I don't know if you've been up for 24 hours.
Well, you were up for 24 hours, you probably woke up in the morning for school. Oh, you're saying he was passed out. I get it what you're saying.
Yeah, he got knocked out.
He was passed out.
He got knocked out. I'm like, I don't know how... They're almost framing it like it happened really briefly, but I'm like, I don't know, somehow the night's over. We just walked 3 miles and talked for a while and then got knocked out, and now it's the morning and it was the sunset while we were walking. I'm like, I don't know about that, man, but passage of time and storytelling is hard. I
hope Carl's imaginary girlfriend gets mad at him for being such a coward and leaving his friends behind.
It just starts haunting him, like in the platform.
Yeah.
Just his guilt. We start walking beside the main road now, the lack of vehicle traffic giving an eerie stillness to the desert. Leo walks close to me, to the point where our paws brush against each other from time to time. So, that party. One of Leo's large ears flicks in my direction before he turns, canting his head curiously. Yeah? That wasn't very, Day of the Daddy, was it? Or Day of the Daddy. God damn.
Night of the Living Dad.
He shakes his head. No, it was not. I think some of those deadbeats thought it had to do with the movie. I only really remember celebrating it once in my home country. Though, I wouldn't really say it was a celebration, yeah? I just remember my mom, dad, and siblings gathering in a cemetery. We placed orange marigolds in front of the abuelos' graves, lit candles, and ate quesadillas. Carl would like that last part. No shit. The prospect of food actually helped him get over his social anxiety to come with me. I see Leo's face shift to a more tight frown. Fuck, man, that party probably made his issues so much worse. They barely had any fucking food, too. Some tool named Robert just brought a bunch of fruit.
Who does
Fuck
that?
you, Robert.
Yeah, fuck you, Robert. There's a keg. It's definitely a party where people are drinking. You don't just bring fruit. Everyone's gonna be so so hungover. It's like not the kind of food you bring.
I mean, I don't think it was all his job, to be fair. I think he's just the only person who brought anything.
I think that they gave Robert the job.
Greatest responsibility, and he biffed it.
Yeah.
Better than nothing. But yeah, I remember we just talked about the loved ones who had passed, told stories, and sort of acted like they were there. So do you actually believe that? That those who've passed can listen in on us when we want them to?
God, I hope not.
Well, it did say when we want them to, so that's like a very an optimum situation, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
You're just not looking forward to your
turn
future.
Turn it on, turn it off. Like
you're just not ready for your future of being a dead person. People keep calling on the phone, basically. You're like, leave me alone. I don't care.
No, if I ever had children, they'll be little atheists. They're not gonna talk to me ever. Leave me the fuck alone.
He looks up for a moment, the color of the sunrise now matching the hue on his fur. Sweat stains are visible around his armpits. His knuckles are still bloodied, and his head fur is a complete mess. That being said, it's kind of a good look on him. Not so much for yours truly, though. No. His gaze shifts back ahead, his tone neutral. But it helps the living, you know? We still gotta get by. A silence hangs between us, and it's pretty obvious his mind has drifted to memories of Sydney. Mine as well. This sort of awkwardness is common now. Sharing trauma like that and carrying on like nothing happened is usually our go-to. What happened to Sydney?
Is that the lake incident?
I think that might be the lake incident.
Might be the lake incident.
We keep hearing about Sydney periodically, but we never met Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
It's been about 4 years now, and it hasn't gotten any easier. Too many reminders here. We're all fucked up from it. Leo's overprotectiveness, Carl's anxiety, Jasmine's escapism, Flynn's rage, my hallucinations, and TJ. God, poor TJ. What happened to TJ? He was, what was he, 9?
Well, maybe TJ's like very.
Oh no! What if he found what if he found Sydney, or is somehow responsible for Sydney?
Or maybe TJ is the way TJ is now, being all very optimistic and Christian. No, I mean I don't think that would be the reason. I just think that maybe he's happy-go-lucky now because he's trying to cope.
Man. Maybe next year we could try Chase. Leo looks at me, his eyes meeting my own before drifting to my paw. Slowly he reaches over, grasping mine in his. I just want to move on, to cherish what I got, yeah? I want to. I can hear the word forget on the tip of his tongue, but he can't bring himself to say it out loud. Instead, he squeezes my paw tighter, and I squeeze back. My therapist told me I should talk about it more, but it isn't something I can just broach in between talk of football and video games. Sure as shit way to kill any good feelings in the area, that's for sure. Like right now? Otter. He brings his paws out in front of us, forcing me to look at our own interlaced fingers. Seeing the size difference, the red fur gripping my own, it's enough to make my neck feel hot and my heart thud heavy. Look at what we're doing right now. We can shoot the sad shit about how tragic everything in Echo is, or we can go against the grain and be happy. I say, let's be fucking happy. Leo smiles down at me, letting our paws fall back to our sides. Despite his motivational wording, I can tell from the gleam in his eyes that he's nervous, his usual confident bravado shaken in the new territory. I don't blame him. Just, they say this sort of thing is supposed to give you a butterflies in your stomach feeling. Yet as we walk along the abandoned Route 65, I feel like less like I have butterflies and more like I'm about to jump out of a fucking plane. It isn't that simple, Leo. Well, fuck it, let's pretend it is for a while and see how it goes. What exactly are you asking for? He rubs his forehead, his fanged teeth briefly grit. I don't know how to explain it, just cheer up? That wasn't exactly eloquently put, even by Leo's standards. I haven't eaten anything since lunch, swam, or slept in 24 hours. I've been beaten in the head, was unable to save TJ from getting bullied to hell, and my parents caught me looking at gay porn, and now will never look at me the same way again. I still have to deal with that.
That's been very, like, any kind of movie or situation where there's...
I have one problem. What if I spend 24 hours stacking
problems?
problems?
Yes. I hate that one where it's like, I'm having an issue, I'm gonna avoid my parents, and then to keep calling me and it's gonna make everything so much worse, because they're gonna be so angry when you get back. That stresses me out so much. I also like how they made it seem like he needs to swim. He's like, I haven't like eaten this or swam in 24 hours because he's an otter. So it's
otter. That's apparently a thing.
But
it sounds like
they just have like a pool at their house for this, or like a swim area or something.
Also, this has to be a typo, but it's very funny to me. I'm not exactly in the best of mental estates at the moment.
I should move to a new neighborhood.
Yeah.
We should have more mental health friendly neighborhood.
Palace.
Yeah.
Though this, I gesticulate to the two of us with a swirl of my free hand, it's helping. Freaking me out for sure, but I'm glad you're here. We'll make all that right. I bet Jasmine will be squealing when she hears all about this shit. This is just like one of her comics, the mangoes.
Oh, she's reading that like yaoi.
She's reading her mangoes.
She likes that boy love.
Mangas. Both wrong. Because he pluralized it with an S. Mangas. Everyone's wrong. Turns out she actually reads that yaoi stuff, after all, I learned. That's that anime porn with the Twinkie triangle types, right? Twinkie triangles?
Yeah, those hot Twinkie triangles.
Who would read some kind of, like, porn story?
Yeah, who would ever?
Looks directly at camera. I nearly choked trying to contain my laughter. Are you familiar with it, Leo? Yeah, of course I'm familiar with it. I got a whole bunch of files with that sort of stuff saved in my sample music folder on my PC. Nobody ever looks in there. Looking up at Leo, he looks genuinely happy now. I mean, a bit sweaty, fidgety, and blood-spattered, but so am I. Right now, I just have to focus on not ruining this. Don't ever get too comfortable with that sort of thing. I did, and now everything's fucked for me. In the eyes of my folks. Man, your mom is the nicest lady. I can't imagine her kicking you out or anything. I'm not worried about that. God, getting kicked out almost sounds preferable to having to face them every day with them having seen me like that. Imagine if your parents found your yaoi folder and how they'd see you from then on.
Do you know that there's a bunch of yaoi downstairs? in the bookshelf?
Is there?
Yeah, and like when I first moved in, I was like, oh, I'm gonna look at these.
Did you ever look at them?
No, your brother was like, don't look at those. I think he was embarrassed.
And now the internet knows that's just a thing you chose to volunteer.
Well, I mean, no one's gonna fucking care. Especially not this demographic. Like, I just thought it was funny. I was like, you think I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be judgmental about any of this?
You thought he was the coolest dude? He had Junji Ito and yaoi on one bookshelf?
Yeah, but he's like, didn't even read the Junji Ito. He's like, oh, my brother gave me that. I never even read it. And I'm like, oh, it's good.
You should have. I give good gifts, damn it. Just don't ever look at them.
I just want to point out that I saw someone came in the other day with a to my work with a Tomy shirt, and I complimented her on the shirt. She says, "I don't know what that is," and I was like, "Oh," I was like, "You don't?" And she's like, "No," and I'm like, "Well, I just outed myself as a weeb."
You're a massive weirdo.
But also, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why you buy a shirt you don't know what it is?
You're so weird.
And I guess it also happened to my coworker with a person with a Homestuck shirt.
Yeah.
I don't know how you'd buy and wear a Homestuck shirt without knowing what Homestuck was. I don't know a lot about Homestuck, but
No.
I would look at that and be like, I know what that is.
I did have somebody.
Why don't you buy a Homestuck shirt?
I was walking around in a grocery store, wearing the Junji Ito shirt you gave me, where the person's skin comes off.
Yeah, that's a great one.
And somebody said that somebody was like, "Cool Attack on Titan shirt."
Oh no!
I'm like, no, it's not. But I saw, but I can't talk too much shit because I did wear an Okami shirt for like a decade without having played the game.
Shame on you.
Because I used to look at this website called T Fury that sold a different shirt every day, and so it's like it was like a FOMO thing. Is that it would show up a different shirt every day. A lot of them were like mashups of two different like franchises or universes or whatever. Like like that one I have that's like The Who and Doctor Who and stuff like that. And then they had one that was just this really nice Okami drawing, and it was just like the wolf head and it's painted and everything. And I'm like, that game always seemed neat, and this shirt goes away tomorrow, so I'm just gonna buy this. And so I bought it, and I wore it for like a decade, and I still have it. And I only played Okami just now. Like, at the time we're recording this, the finale hasn't even aired yet. That's how now the timing is. And then like, I had that shirt in high school, I think.
I just remember when Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came out, I was like complaining because I wanted more good female characters. I'm like, oh, but we got Amaterasu, so there's one. There's some on there that are okay.
Anyway.
I'll take you for a ride.
Imagine if your parents found your yaoi folder and how they'd see you from then on. Well, they shouldn't have been going through my shit in the first place. I think Mama already knows about me being gay, though. What? She kept asking me if I liked Jasmine, yeah? It was annoying to me, and I just up and said she wasn't my type. Mama kept prodding me with, "Why, Leonardo? She is smart." I'm just starting to turn Italian.
Mama. She is a smart one.
Why, Leonardo? She is a smart one, and she has cared for you in your times of need on countless occasions. I try to restrain a snicker at Leo's impression of his mother, the accented, high-pitched cadence rather right on the nose. Leo hears my suppressed titters, looking down at me with a feigned scowl before hip-bumping me. I nearly go careening off the side of the bike lane into the sagebrush-filled side basin, but he yanks me back with my paw he's holding. I try to imagine Leo and Jasmine together. It makes sense, I guess, but it's weird to think about. I also didn't even register until just now that that's what Leo's short for. Like, his name is Leonardo.
Yeah, I mean, it usually is. I mean, it could be like Leonardo, I guess it could be Leon, but I don't know why. Most people, Leon's already pretty short, so.
Yeah, it's actually zero shorter to call him Leo.
Yeah.
Puberty in general has made things so much different. She went on, asking what exactly my type was.
Gosh, reminds me of being younger.
So, you and Stephanie.
Oh, I'm so sorry for you.
So many fucking conversations.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that your mom loves me so much and just wants me to be a part of the family forever. I was like, no.
I think I was frustrated or something at the time. Like, after a bad practice session, I said, "Not girls." Whoa. Well, that's just saying it. My eyes widened, picturing the confrontation in my mind. Jeez, what happened next? I regretted saying it. Mama could see that plain enough in my mug, yeah? She just clicked her tongue, told me to let her know when I felt like talking more about that.
That's better than, I was watching one show, was I watching reality TV?
Yeah.
But basically, like, someone came out with their mom, and she just was like, "No, it was also like in Mexico. Yeah, no, she was just like, no, you're not.
Incorrect response.
He's like, no, Mom, I'm gay, and I'm like, I'm gonna go move with my boyfriend and like doing all this stuff. She's like, no. And I'm like, that's not really something you can just say to that.
Just do that. I'm assuming you haven't really followed up on her offer. No, Chase, I have not. There's a silence between us, mostly because I'm trying to think up a response that isn't, well, I have it worse. You fucker, don't you dare. Before I can speak, we approach what looks like a short dirt driveway that leads up to a shack of some sort. Leo stops and points towards it. Let's cut through here and head to my house through the rail yard. I don't want to deal with Jeremy right now in case he's awake and outside his house. I sincerely doubt that Jeremy and Clint will be out and about being dicks this early on a Saturday, but I don't argue and follow along. Upon closer inspection, it looks like one of those roadside dive bars you see in a lot of reservations. This one boarded up fairly recently. The Joshua trees and the old-timey pickup truck give it an out-of-place feeling. As far as I know, Joshua trees aren't native to this area. Huh. Never heard about this place before. I have. It was open for a little while a year or so ago. Yeah? It would have been the first new business I've heard about around here since I was like 7, I think. Like I said, it didn't last long. Heard from Charlie that the owner got busted for some fucked up shit that Officer Mallcop found in the back room. Oh. Christ. Was it Keith? I mean, this is from Charlie, so I wouldn't believe all of it. Like, what specifically? Leo shrugs, a light frown on his muzzle. I don't know, he wouldn't tell me. We continue moving, Leo kicking an errant bean.
Can.
Just
an errant bean.
Just a bean, just around. Leo kicking an errant bean can along in front of us as we walk. Can't believe Charlie's still alive. Turns out absurd amounts of meth is the secret to a long lifespan.
Dude, sometimes I don't know. Some people I'm like, how are you still alive?
Not if I find out you've been taking it on her. I'll shorten your fucking lifespan real quick. He smirks at me and I roll my eyes, glancing back at the side of the abandoned bar as we pass. Why does he have to be named Keith?
Yeah, why does
he have to be named Keith?
Yeah, why is the creep named Keith?
Why does it have to have a setup and payoff for this too?
For this conversation? Or just are you referring to other games where Keith is
no, because I guessed it was Keith based on the previous setup, and then it was I'm like, no.
Yeah, because his
what
mom.
Were they doing
his
back
mom
there?
disapproved of his amorous pursuits, and she knows that people do bad things to children in this town.
I hope those are unrelated statements.
That would be nice for you.
I hope that Keith and Brian are just a thing, and that's the problem.
That would be
But
nicer. But someone got in trouble for stuff in the back room they weren't supposed to have.
Yeah. Well, Keith and Brian's booze bastion.
Wasn't it Brian who wouldn't tell Leo about it? Which makes me think the only other person there is Keith. So is it Keith that got in trouble for the stuff in the back room?
Brian? No. What's the guy's name? Charlie.
Oh, Charlie.
Charlie's the person reporting things. Well, we'll find out about that at some point.
Oh, Keith.
No.
Georgia O'Keeffe.